Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tell Me Why, a short, sharp podcast for busy Beatles people on the go who want to be in the know. In the next half hour, we hope to tell you all you need to know to connect to something hot, new, and wonderful in the Beatles world. And today, I have one of my favorite people on the show. Let me tell you that if you want to find out about him personally, you have to really look because he is humble. He is a very sweet person. And in a world of me on Facebook, you will be hard pressed to find out what he has done prior to the two Beatles books that he has published in the last few years. But I did some sleuthing, and let me tell you, he has been a journalist for over 30 years, and he writes for the hottest Toronto music magazine called Spill. In fact, if you go to Spill's website, his out of the six top articles right now, he has two of them, and they're not about the Beatles. One is about ABBA, the beginnings of ABBA. But he knows music, and it isn't just Beatles. He knows music. He also has three. See, like I think I'm doing good. I have one podcast. I'm like, woohoo, a podcast. No, he has three syndicated radio shows. One, all the titles are Beatles related. One is from Memphis to Merseyside. One is 8 days this week, and one is here today. And so he is busy and he is extremely knowledgeable about music and about the Beatles. If you read the foreword to his latest book, which is Ringo Starr solo career, Gotta Pay Your Dues, you will find out that the Beatles have been, get the glare off of that, the Beatles have been part of his life since he was a little boy, and his foreword made me cry. So it will touch your heart. He has the introduction to the book is written by none other than Ruth McCartney. Yes, the Ruth whom we all love. And it is an amazing book. In 2024, he released a book on George Harrison's record company called Dark Horse, the story of George Harrison's post Beatles record label. And then, and we're going to have to find out about this, the very next year, like, you know, me, I struggle for 3.5 years to do a book. The very next year, 2025, he comes out with this magnificent Ringo book. So I am very honored to welcome to the show one of the nicest people you will ever meet, Aaron Badgley. Hey, Aaron, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm so like, but thank you. And you said earlier, you are one of my favorite people on this planet. And I loved running into you at all the conventions. I love talking to you. I love your books. I love everything you do. I think you're a gift to us all. So thank you. I mean this. Thank you for having me on.
Oh,
I'm really honored.
I am tickled to death. You opened a whole new, I think there are two people in the Beatles world that opened doors for me and that I would never have opened. One is Robert Rodriguez, um, Revolver, How the Beatles Reimagined Rock and Roll. Hated Revolver. I was like, what is wrong with the Beatles? This is horrible. There's nothing to like on this entire LP. And my Revolver was hardly played. Then I read his book and I was like, oh, well, the same thing happened. I mean, other than thinking that Ringo was absolutely darling and the star of the Beatles movies by far, and the perfect balance for a lot of hot personalities. He was the earth to the fire and the water and the air. You know, he just is such a wonderful person. Now, I wasn't into his solo career. I didn't know a thing about his solo career. But in November, I started reading this book. And after about, oh, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, I got up and grabbed my phone because I realized that you were going to take me through every single, every LP, and I was going to listen to it with you. So
Oh,
I went to YouTube. As you told me about it, I listened to it on YouTube, and you made me a huge fan. but it's so much more than the singles and the LPs. Tell us what's in this book.
Well, Ringo was busy, and I don't know that people know that. I mean, during this, after the Beatles split up, he was perhaps the Beatle that people expected the least from, but he was busy. I mean, he worked with artists, he made music his own, he backed up Harry Nilsson and so many others, Gary Wright. Oh, not Gary Wright, but other people he worked with. I just drew a blank. I mean, he worked with George, and he worked with Jimmy Webb, and he worked with so many people. He made movies, both as an actor. He produced movies. He designed furniture. He had a record label. This is all in one decade. It was, I mean, it's incredible. You know, you get an artist nowadays who puts out one album every 5 years, they think they're busy. Ringo was busy, and he was all over, and he is all good. Like he just was extreme to me. The '70s was for a chance for him to prove that he was Ringo Starr, solo, a musician first and foremost, and then all sorts of other things after that. Songwriter, he wrote with George, he wrote with Billy Lowry. It's an incredible career that I found fascinating for years. So I wanted to share it in a book.
Yeah, and you do. And I mean, you go through each LP song by song, and
Yeah.
you explain what's going on in each song. So, like Sentimental Journey. So I read what you said, then I listened to the song, then I went back and looked at what you said again. And I mean, guys, you're going to learn something from this book. Tom Aguiar of Octopus's Garden just finished reading it, and I'm sure he's getting ready to review it in his next issue. And he was blown away by it. So even if you think you know Ringo's solo career, believe me, you don't. What else? You did the LPs. What else did you cover?
Oh, singles, the films, as I said. I mean, you know what I love? And you are so brilliant at what you do. And I know that when you do your research, you find things that no one knew, even you didn't know. And I found these two movies that Ringo produced, these films, documentaries in 1972, and I was blown away. It's like, how did I not know this? Like I'm Mr. Ringo Starr's fan, and all of a sudden I'm discovering stuff. So Ringo is really he's a funny person because he's also someone who doesn't need to be in the spotlight. He's happy being behind the kit, behind, John during the Plastic Ono band sessions, which he said was one of his favorite albums to drum on. And, he drummed on All Things Must Pass. I mean, the only Beatle he didn't work on was Paul. He wasn't on any Paul's albums in the '70s, but he was on George's Dark Horse, Material World. He was on Plastic Ono Band, Yoko's Plastic Ono Band. He was busy. And, the other thing I discovered about Ringo was he took his craft seriously, Jude. Like, Goodnight Vienna, to me, when I listened to it again when I was writing my book, I thought this is a very deeply personal album. He's actually saying to the world, I'm leaving my wife's leaving me, and it's a split up album. And when you put that framework on it, it's a heartbreaking album. Like, I listened to it, I thought, this is an honest, he's putting his heart on his sleeve, to coin a phrase from one of his other songs. But he was, and I love that about Ringo. He was very serious about what he was doing. It wasn't just he was a Beatle, you buy this because I'm a Beatle. He was trying to make, and he did make great music, be either by himself or for other people. And you got to respect that.
Yeah. I think he did it in a way that's different from the way that John was doing it, because
Oh, yeah.
John says to Maureen Cleave in his January 1966 interview with her that's published in March and then blows up into ridiculous proportions. But
Yes.
he says to her, his very last statement is, "This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. This is not it." And so that's why I paint and make films and write, because this is not it. And so John is doing the what Ringo's doing, but he's doing it out of a sense of desperation and sadness and unhappiness and longing to do. Ringo's doing it because Ringo just enjoys it all, right?
Oh, yeah. And he does enjoy it all, and he makes the most out of everything he's given, which I really admired when I was doing the research. And no one had a like every time I talked to somebody who worked with him, it was like he was giving, he was open, he was, well, what do you think will work? Like, okay, but let's do this. And I love that. I mean, the story about he's doing the song for Roto Gavier, and he's in a Mexican restaurant and he hears this mariachi band and he goes, they'd be good on the song. So he invites him into the studio. I love that. Like, I mean, I'm sure they're kind of going, nah, you're joking, right? Okay, let's go to the studios. And they did. And I love that. But to your point, like you look at Ringo's career, you look at something like Sentimental Journey, which you mentioned, that was years ahead of anyone doing kind of the standards, right? Like Ringo was the first to do it before Linda Ronstadt and Carly Simon, and they're great albums, by the way. But here he is, first solo album he does. Like John's first real solo album is, gut wrenching, and George does all things but I mean, he had the other two before that. Ringo introduces himself as a solo act by doing songs from the 30s. And there's a song on the album called Let the Rest of the World Go By, which was my mom's favorite song. It was written in the year she was born. And she used to sing it to me before I even heard Ringo. So it's so incredible that he was ahead of his time. Then he does a country album right in Nashville, a Beatle in Nashville.
Don't you love it?
I do. I do I love it. And can I just as an aside, I was watching a documentary about Neil Young, Harvest, right? And Neil's in Nashville doing an interview, and the guy says to Neil, "We had Ringo in here last week," and Neil Young goes, "Ringo, Ringo Starr? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What was Ringo doing?" Like he didn't know what to. He was stunned. He was like, "What? No, of the Beatles, Ringo Starr? That's pretty cool, man."
I mean, he just enjoys trying everything and he does it from a sense of joy, you
Yeah,
know? Now, this
yeah.
furniture business, designing furniture, can you get any Ringo Starr furniture today? Probably not, right?
Oh, it's you can still if you go, you can still find it on in listed in auctions, Sotheby's.
Wow.
Uh, Ruth McCartney. This is after I wrote the book, and she did the introduction. And I was talking to her, and she goes, "How come you didn't ask me about my Ringo furniture?" I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, I got a couple of tables that he designed." I'm like, "Ruth, why didn't you tell me?" So she has two tables that Ringo designed. Um, I think it's fascinating that he was doing furniture and all these things. And no, again, he was very quiet about it. He didn't kind of have exhibitions. He just went about his business. I love that about him. The understated Ringo.
It's very Aaron Badgley-esque.
Maybe he's my role model. I don't know.
You don't brag about it. You just go about your business. So my favorite part of the book you've talked about, which are the collaborations that he did. I love that he did that. I love that he was not, oh no, I'm Ringo. I'm not gonna do it. But he was working with everyone. I love that. What's your favorite part of the book?
Well, that was one of my favorite parts. And I think the other favorite part of the book was his willingness to try things that may be out of his comfort zone. He's working with T-Rex and directing a film with Mark Bolan, and he was okay with that. He didn't need to be in the spotlight. I mean, here's a Beatle in the pit filming girls screaming at the new Beatles, and he was fine with that. I just love the fact that he did a country record with a guy named Guthrie Thomas, and again, just kind of very, so it's kind of like what you just said. And I just love the fact that he was open to all this stuff and that he did it so well. And like for those of you listening, if you can find the song Band of Steel by Guthrie Thomas that Ringo wrote, and he never recorded it, Guthrie Thomas did. And Ringo sings on it. It's a great song. It should have been a massive hit. When you listen to it, you're going to go,
What's the
why?
name of it again? Say it again.
Band of Steel.
Band of Steel. Okay.
It's an amazing song. And you know what? It would have fit on Goodnight Vienna as a breakup song. Just saying.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I really did learn so much from this book. And when I got to the end of it, and it's not a daunting book. I mean, you can
No.
read this. It's not like it's going to take you forever. It is, but it is jam-packed full of things I guarantee you that you do not know. And even Ringo fans, I mean, even Nicole Michael, I bet Nicole didn't know some of this stuff. It is amazing. So the final line says, this was Ringo Starr in the 1970s. Does that mean we're going to have an 80s, a 90s?
I would love nothing more. I think if there's an interest in it and if people want me to, I would love to. I think the 80s is a real critical decade for Ringo because he goes back on the road with the All-Stars in 1989. And then, the 90s, he's doing this stuff with Mark Hudson. I would love to explore it. He had a studio called Startling Music where a lot of people recorded there. A guy named Gowan, who's a Toronto musician, who's now the lead singer of Styx, by the way. And he recorded two albums at Ringo's house and this home studio. So yeah, if people want it, if you build it, I will come.
We want it. I like to
Thanks.
vote. We want it. What are you working on right now?
I'm just finishing up a book on a band called, and they're kind of connected to Ringo. It's a band called Klaatu, and they were a Canadian band that people thought were the Beatles. And it's a really fascinating story. And luckily, I got to talk to two members and of the three, and it's a fascinating. I'm just blown away by what I'm learning about this band. So that's what I'm working on. And then maybe after that, I'll turn my eyes to Ringo in the 80s. I think that'd be a fun book to write. I
I
really
think
do.
you too. You can't leave us hanging. You brought us up to 1980. So, guys, if you're a Beatles fan, and I'm guessing you are if you're watching this podcast, let me tell you what, you need this book. I don't care if Paul is all or if John is the one or whatever.
That's
You
great.
need this book because it Paul is in there. John is
Yeah,
in there. George is in there. And it is a part of Beatles history that you need to know. And it's so, 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 so interesting. So,
thank
Aaron,
you.
where can they get this book?
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart has it. Everywhere, I mean, wherever you buy your book. If they don't have it, they'll order it for you.
You can go to your website.
You can go to my website. There's links to places to buy it. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, maybe this about a month's time, I might have some copies that I'll be selling through my website, which will be autographed. And so it's available wherever you you can buy it as a book or as an e-reader. I don't have an e-reader, Jude. I'm still the old-fashioned guy with the, you know, I'm old. But apparently you can buy it as an e-reader. A friend of mine read it on his e-reader. He liked it. So there you go. So
Yeah, that's great. That is so great. Maybe you'll do an audiobook too. Who knows?
you never know. I would love to. Actually, I've had one person offer to do it for me, so I might take him up on it. We'll see. We'll see.
There you go. And if you would like to get a copy in person from Aaron and have him sign it, all you need to do is show up on February the 9th in Los Angeles at Ren Silva. Now you ask, what is Ren Silva? Is that a restaurant? Is it a bookstore? No, it is a turntable company who is quite well known in Los Angeles and worldwide. They are located at 8625 Melrose Avenue, and they are going to be playing Ringo solo music throughout the book signing and book launch party that Aaron is having on February the 9th. So if you live in Los Angeles, get to this event. You're going to have so much fun. February, what time? Do you know what time it is? The
Yeah,
party?
it's going to start about 6 o'clock, and then I'm going to be DJing. I get to play with the nice turntables and spin my Ringo records from the 1970s. So I'm excited to be playing Ringo, and I love DJ. I'm a ham when I get to doing dances. I love doing dances. So get ready to dance to Year 16 and all that great stuff.
I hope you're going to be signing books as well.
I absolutely will be signing books. Yes, I'll have a big box of them there. Yep, yep, yep.
Okay, well, we will have your website going across. It probably has already gone across when the magic of Rand Kessler gets a hold of this and fixes it for us. So go to his website, go to any place that fine books are sold and grab yourself a copy of this book. It would make a wonderful Valentine's Day gift for your Beatle friend that maybe somebody you haven't seen in a while that you just want to reach out to and say, you know what, I'm thinking of you, and this is just a great book, and get one for yourself because you will definitely love it. Well, Aaron, we end every show the same way, which is we think about John Lennon and remember him and think about some of the crazy and wonderful and inspiring things that he said. What's your favorite John Lennon quote?
Well, I do love John, and I love your book. So, folks, Jude's books, the best, let me tell you. Uh, I thought about that. My favorite quote is from a song, "Watching the Wheels." And when I was a therapist, which I was for 33 years, I used to use this in my therapy a lot after it came out, obviously after 1980. I would say, I tell them there are no problems, only solutions. And that it sticks with me every single day. And I love that. And that's my favorite John Lennon quotation from us. Yeah.
That is so, I mean, that has never jumped out at me ever. And I sing that song all the time. And wow. And especially knowing if you read Ken Womack's book, John Lennon 1980, which is not about John Lennon 1980, it's about John Lennon from 1970 to 1980. Um, and you watching the wheels become a song. That line got totally lost to me, but I will always hear that now. Thank you. I love
Oh,
that.
thank you.
It's a great
I hey, it's huge to me, and I get it helps me every day, every single day.
Yeah, that is it is good, good, good. Well, guys, um, Aaron was nice enough to mention the books. Some Forever is the new book in the John Lennon series, and we are just about sold out. We have a box and a half of books left. Yay! So thank you guys so very much. If you want a physical copy so that you can work out with it, because you definitely can do some curls with this thing. Um, Go to the website, johnlennonseries.com, and grab one of the few books that are left. And on our next show, coming up in about 3 weeks, we are going to have Dan Absher with the Fab Four Pillars of Impact and how the Beatles influenced business and the way that we run our companies and businesses and interact with people in social situations. So you don't want to miss that. Aaron, thank you so much for being on today. And I'm a huge fan of your book. And I really appreciate you sharing it with us.
I am such a huge fan of you. And now, I thought I'd be able to buy your book at the next Beatle Fest, which isn't until next year. So I'm going to be ordering your book because I want to read it. So expect an order from me in the next few days. I'm honored to be on your show, Jude. And I think I've told you this before, and I'll say it again. I really love you and Rand, and just thank you so, so much.
Well, thank you. And best of luck in Los Angeles. I'm going to envision you on the 9th of February. I'm going to see you at the turntable and then signing a book and then at the turntable and then signing a book. Have a great time. And thank you so much. And to everybody, thank you for joining us. I know you have lots of choices and lots of options of things that you could be doing. And we appreciate you spending this half hour with us. Headed to Ireland in June to refresh my Liverpool spirit. And so I close every show by saying to you, tra, which means goodbye. And of course, shine on.